We all set goals to elevate our careers. One important thing is understanding that it does take time to succeed, and patience is a virtue. So if you are setting goals and you're not happy with the pace or you haven't achieved them yet, rather than give up on the goal, take a look at the timing and ask, do I really, or am I really giving myself a break to achieve this in a timely way? And am I putting too much pressure on myself to achieve these goals? You may find out that the goals are just fine, and you may just need some time for the seeds you've planted to grow and reward you with the fruits afterwards. So think about the timing and don't give up on your goals. Take care. I'm at a large international conference, the ISHA meeting for hip specialists, and I think one thing I'm learning increasingly is the importance of feedback at meetings. So if you have an idea or a work conflict or something you're not comfortable with, getting feedback and ideas from others is quite helpful and naturally will help you make a better decision about your career or any problem you're trying to solve. So the feedback piece of going to meetings and networking is very, very important. And bring your difficult problems or queries or anything you're really not sure about to these meetings. And, when you reach out to your colleagues and express those concerns, they're there to help and also give you great tips. So don't neglect feedback at meetings. It's quite important and helpful. Take care. One of the key things I've always found is people asking about keys to being successful. And that's great because many highly successful individuals do want to help you with important information. But I'd advise people looking for tips to also ask about the biggest failures, the biggest missteps, because that is also very important to learn from. So when you meet somebody you admire, somebody who's leading in your organization, ask them about their biggest weaknesses, how they mitigated that, their failures, what they didn't do as well early on. And you can also learn from those failures as well. So take the opportunity to learn about others' failures to improve your lot in your career trajectory. Take care. This is a Halloween notch edition. I'd say that one of the key things people find scary early in career is expressing your ideas at meetings. It's difficult, it's scary, you're fearful of being criticized, and that's just normal and fine. But as you're building your career, start expressing yourself in smaller settings like smaller meetings, focus groups, 2, 3, or 4 people, and gradually build that up to when you express yourself in larger audiences. So be mindful that your ideas have value and are important, but also the fear of expressing yourself is not a bad thing, it's actually normal. And eventually, with practice, it does get much better. Take care. This is a notch tip on the evening side of things. And one thing I've learned over the years is failure or not getting that position or that job or that task doesn't always mean it's a lifelong or failures coming up in your career. That failure actually may give you a little bit of time to pause, reflect on what didn't go so well, and improve for next time. And importantly, that time that you now take may actually give you time to see new opportunities. So failure at one task may actually give you that gift of time to assess your situation and to pursue newer opportunities that may actually be more rewarding than you thought. So take failure as a blessing sometimes. It may actually pay off in the long term. Take care. Measuring your success against others is natural. That's what we do all the time, but not as important as measuring success with your own internal or personal goals. So don't get caught up with asking about others and comparing yourself all the time. Just also have your own metrics to measure against, and you make sure you're following your trajectory and your path. And don't get discouraged about looking at how you compare to others, because what is most important is how are you improving relative to your own abilities and your own benchmarks. So have that comparison, most importantly, to what you expect of yourself and not based on what others may think you should be doing at this phase of your career. Take care. I get asked, how do you plan for success as you're starting your career? I think 4 Ps generally help. First, you should have your purpose, understanding what really drives you and enables you to really get to work every day. Second is really making sure that you have some priorities that align with your purpose. So you set these goals that really are grounded in what you're all about. And then you have to have an actual plan. So that takes time to sit down and plan your strategy. And then eventually you have to have the right people. So if you have a purpose, some priorities, a plan, and people that are your mentors and supporters, generally over time, if you stick with it, you'll have some success. Take care. Notch Academy tip about making mistakes happens all the time, and we all make them. And when you're speaking to somebody who you respect about them or somebody who is your boss, it's not enough to simply say, my bad. Really try and tell that person why you'll avoid that mistake or how you intend to avoid it in the future, or perhaps how you learn from it. So that extra depth is really helpful. If you do have that error that you think you could have, improved upon or avoided in the first place, simply say, You made the mistake and admit it, but also do add the fact that you learn from it and how to potentially avoid that mistake in the future. That really helps and shows depth of understanding and really appreciating the gravity of the situation. Take care. Today's notch tip is if you're trying to really understand something at an expert level when you first start out, actually try and teach it. When you try and teach it, you become a little bit more focused on the key and salient points. You're able to explain it in great detail, and it forces you to really understand what you're talking about. So if you have a skill or if you have a talent that you think you're about to get to the expert level at, ask yourself, can I teach it really well to somebody who's not an expert? And that'll give you an answer. So keep teaching, and that helps you keep learning. Take care. This notch tip is just all about recognizing that every career phase as you're developing has pros and cons. And even though you may leave something behind that you'll miss, there's an opportunity and a challenge for that next role and next phase. So some people may decline opportunities because the perception of missing something they enjoy is there, but also when you go to that next phase, next level, or next opportunity, it brings unique challenges and unique joys that you don't anticipate. So don't let the fear of the current situation being good enough stop you from ascending to that next role or next level. As you're growing your career and developing, you may notice that there's some skills you wish you had, but don't really have an avenue to obtain them through courses or other mechanisms in your organization. But one thing you could do is to volunteer your time to participate on committees or boards that may not compensate you financially, but give you that experience in the real world situations. And those experiences, of course, not only help you develop the skills, but also improve your network. So along your career journey, if you're thinking about acquiring skills, that volunteering component can be a very powerful way to really expose yourself to situations and areas of content you're not familiar with, and to overall get better. It's a time investment, but really a tremendous amount of dividends can result from just that effort and attention to put in that time and work in. Take care. This notch tip is about making decisions about your career. So if you get an offer, something you're excited about, it's very easy to make a snap decision and email and respond immediately. But sometimes after you've done that, you come to the thought that you wish you'd asked a few more questions. So under pressure, when you're thinking about making that really important decision, it's actually quite reasonable to ask for some time to reflect and then to respond. So taking time to make a good decision is an important thing, and you can ask for time while you're thinking through that process. So the tip really is ask for time when you're making a big decision from your employer, your boss, or whoever, and that just really enables you to make a very comprehensive decision. You may not get as long as you want, but at least some time to process is always important to ask for and to get that leeway. Take care.